guys. Today I'm going to give you a how-to on how to set up the free service Amazon offers, the Amazon Web Service. They offer free virtual computer for home use, guys. I highly recommend using this for anyone interested in Skyping, in running a small web server and doing testing, and who doesn't want to use resources on your computer. Amazon offers a free service. You do have to register and sign on with your credit card, and they do charge for different options. I'll get into that later in this video. I'm just going to give you guys a quick how-to on how to set up your server for yourself. It could be a Linux or Microsoft. Today I'm going to walk you through the Microsoft. Once you log into the Amazon, I'll show you the link to Amazon Web Service. You're going to want to log into the AMSW Management Console right here, guys. Click on that. You want to sign in to the ASW console. And once you're here, you're going to want to go to the Ec2 Dashboard. You can also select it by, you have a whole bunch of different services that's available to you that you want to go to the Ec2, guys. Ec2, located here. You click on it. This is the dashboard you want to access to start. What you're going to want to do is create an instance. This is basically like a reservation or an instant. It's a virtual private computer, which is basically what it's calling a default VPC. I think they call it a virtual. So once you do that, you want to click on Launch Instance. This is where you'll now pick the operating system you want to use. Most people who are not familiar with Linux will probably want to skip these and scroll down and notice that they also offer Microsoft Windows servers that are registered and they're free to use. You want to make sure you click on the one that say free tier eligible, because most people are not going to want to pay for this service, and this video's whole point is to show you how to get it for free. And I know I want to get the latest and greatest, so I want to get Microsoft 2012. So I'm going to go ahead and select the Microsoft Windows Server 2012. And this is a 64-bit. You'll go click on Select. And now it's going to ask you to choose your instance and type. I'm on a VPN, so it's going to be kind of slow loading this page. Yeah, back real quick. Well, that's good. Let me redo that. So we got Windows Server, select. There we go. So once this is selected, this is where it gets a little confusing for some people. This is what Amazon will offer you for free, and it also has information about each one, what it does. I'll kind of break it down. This is one of their servers, the name. This ECU, they call it, is basically their CPU. They give you an online CPU. It's basically, they have a really big server, and they offer you shared processing power for free. You can purchase higher tiers and get more horsepower, but it costs money. For this video, I'm just going to show you how to get it for free. So basically, you're going to get one CPU, you're going to get 613 megabytes of RAM. That's less than a gig, people. It is actually not a really high performance PC, but it will be able to run Skype, run an Internet Explorer, etc. It's great for what you need for free. So once you do that, you can go ahead and click Next. On the configuration, you can actually make more than one machine, and it goes limitations by hours and data usage. I'll get into that as well, but for now, just leave everything as is. You don't have to make any changes. You can make changes to change your subnet, only allow certain subnets to see your different networks, etc. You can assign roles, you can set it to shut down. It has a lot of good tools, but for now, just go ahead and click Next, Add Storage. Again, you can add different volumes. You get 30 gigs for free. So again, you don't have to touch anything. Next instance, you can tag key values, and it has a whole information about doing that. Again, you don't need to do that. Just click Next. And you can call it your security group, whatever you want. I'm going to go ahead and create a new security group. And since I'm using a Windows-based machine, I want to basically set it for RDP. That's Remote Desktop Protocol. You can add special rules and not allow any other IPs. It actually links with your computer. So you can set other machines in the source button, where you can set different IPs. You only want you to do it, your friend, etc. I'm going to allow mine for anywhere. So again, you don't have to touch this. You can just hit Review and Launch. And then this thing's telling to improve your security, you can set it to only I can touch it, your friend, etc. You don't have to do that. Everything's fine. Click on Launch. And again, this is where it gets kind of interesting. This right here is you want to go ahead and create a new key. This is going to be a password key. You can download the password key. You can type it whatever you want. You can call it password. Just call it your key name. You'll download a password key here. And this is going to download to your computer. You want to save this for later. I'll explain that and why. We'll go ahead and once you have that downloaded, click Launch Instance. This is where it kind of takes a little bit of time to basically the machine's going to go and create itself. So I sent a request to the Amazon servers to say, okay, I want a Windows 2012 server created for myself. This gives me a name. The server it's located on the T1 micro server. It gives me a time zone, and the instance state is pending. One thing to note, guys, the system check will automatically update itself, so you want to keep an eye on this. Basically, this takes anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes to spin up and get ready. It's basically creating a new VM, installing the OS, running a sysprep, and getting it ready for me to use. I also have to input that password PEM key we downloaded in order to encrypt myself and log into the machine. It has a public DNS and it has this public IP address. This public IP address is very important. This is going to be the IP address you're going to enter in your RDP. In order to do that, you'll use a program like either for Macintosh or Windows. For instance, we're going to use a thing called Remote Desktop Protocol. This protocol right here is what you use to connect. This will actually give you a client to download and use. But you have to wait for the system check to say initialize already. This again takes anywhere from 10 minutes. So while we're waiting for this to reload, I'll go ahead and actually show you some of the things that they offer here. You can this is creating instance. You can make spot requests on the fly, which I believe costs money. So say I want to request a spot available at this time, and I believe this costs money if you make a request for it. You can again say I want free tier only. You can get more machines available, and you can also up the different horsepower available. So let's say I want to actually one I want to pay for. They offer SQL web servers, different standards, release candidate 2, etc. Whole bunch of different operating systems for different usage. They do offer a free tier that you can't go over 750 minutes. And they also offer stuff in their marketplace where you can purchase from them. They have different products and software available from other companies they sell. To be honest, I haven't really played with this stuff too much, so I wouldn't recommend necessarily purchasing this. I probably would stick with the free tier until you're comfortable enough into purchasing more hardware or more space. So anyways, this is their dashboard. You can always go back to your current EC2 cloud and see what's going on. If you don't know what's going on, you can always look at your events and see what you're doing. There are no events. We can look at our instances, and we'll notice that it's still initializing. This thing is basically loading and initializing. You can check your different launch configurations. You can check your volumes, which is going to be your hard drive on your instances. And we have our 30 gig hard drive, and it's currently being in use, and the volume status is okay. You can check the different information. Snapshots again is really important because you can let's say I have my image set up and I want to install Skype and a few web servers and I want to clone it or take a snapshot and make changes. You can take snapshots on the fly for free with this tool. It does it very much like a VMware or a Hyper-V would. You can assign security groups if you want later on. You can create different security groups for people to have access. You can set elastic IPs. Again, this is a lot of stuff most normal people probably wouldn't need if you're just using it for personal use. That's the whole point of the free tier, is to use it only for personal use. That's why they give you such low standards. They give you, one IP address and they make you pay, additional money if you want to go and purchase those additional equipment. Again, it's still initializing. And if you notice, if you try to connect to this and I want to go ahead and get the password, it will say your password is not ready. Password is generating because I'm still building the VM. It's still spinning up. It takes a little bit in the back end because it's just creating me basically a clone of this default image to spin up. This is probably the longest time. I might fast forward this on YouTube because it's kind of boring to wait. And the only thing I do want to note is you can set alarms, which I think is pretty nice because you can basically set your machine in actions. You can do a lot of different things such as alarms, which I thought was cool. You can enable the detail monitoring and you can add alarms so you don't end up paying, which I thought was kind of nice. Basically with alarms you can create alarms, which I like. This basically, I believe it sends a SQL command to the server and it checks different information. I'm not sure about that, but this feels like a dumbed down version of SQL to me. Because basically it has a whole bunch of commands you can ask. Like, for instance, if you, I don't know, you get, I think, X amount of disk IOPS. That's disk reads and writes. So if you hit over a certain amount, less or more than, you can have it turn off. You can set it for a time zone. You can set alarms. So it will actually send you an email if you go over your free tier. And again, see how this thing's initializing? I just got a public DNS. It's still setting up for me right now. In the images, I believe they sell bundle tasks. I believe this is something for purchase. You have to go get that from an aunt. I don't think I own anything. You can buy it again from their marketplace. That costs money. Launch configurations. They have different templates available. They have automated provisioning, and they have adjusted capacity. You could set this stuff up in your scaling if you want to do all that. Again, one thing that's important while we're on the topic is their pricing. Their pricing model is kind of interesting, but for the Windows one we're spinning up for free right now, I just want to point out 750 hours of the EC2 running on Microsoft Windows. That's actually, you can run that 24/7 every single day, and you won't go over your usage in hours. That's what they set it for. And they allow you 30 gigs of space plus 2 million IOPS and 1 gigabyte of data snapshot storage. To be honest, the snapshots are not very big in size, so I'm assuming you could probably do like 3 or 4 snapshots. And then this is one thing that could be a kicker for some people: 15 gigs of bandwidth out. So I wouldn't recommend downloading big files or running a really busy web server or game server off the EC2 cloud with the free tier, because you're going to go over your disk bandwidth pretty much guaranteed. And it only offers 1 gig of regional data transfer. So it's important things to note that with their free tier, you are limited. But they do offer pricing. And their pricing, in my opinion, isn't bad because they charge per hour. But for home use, I don't feel most people will go over this if they use it smartly. If you want to buy a web server, buy VPS, buy one of those. But for a free service that Amazon offers, I believe their free tier is perfect for people who want to run Skype or do some website testing, or just having a computer to test in, like a box. That's basically a free sandbox that you can use. This is a great tool, in my opinion, preventing yourself from getting DDoSed. If you're interested in being on Skype 24/7, but you don't want to log into your own computer, you can install Skype on your EC2 machine, talk from it, and use it. And never, if they DDoS the EC2 cloud, okay, big deal. You go ahead and clone your machine, you make a new reservation, and you have a new instance ready for you. So again, okay, this thing should be ready. We're on status check 2 out of 2. So we'll go ahead and click on this, our instance here. We're going to go ahead and click on connect. We want to go click on get password. Password's still not ready. Okay, we're going to have to wait for this. It should be ready really soon because it's on 2 of 2 checking. So it should be finished pretty soon. We'll wait for the password to be ready and we'll log into this thing. So long it's going to take. This does take about 15 minutes. I tested it earlier today. It takes about 15 minutes for this thing to spin up, give it a password, and able to log in. I'll go back to the pricing while we're waiting for the password. So anyway, so this is the free tier. This will be fine for most home users. And if you're interested in getting different pricing, one thing to note, guys, is there are different pricings for the operating system. So if we're using a Windows, obviously I want to look in the Windows pricing. And you'll notice that the Windows pricing is always going to be a little bit more than a Linux pricing. People might ask why. The reason why is most Linux is free OS and doesn't have to deal with Microsoft licensing, and they're paying for the premium for Windows. Windows is normally a bigger footprint and usually takes more resources. So you notice a difference in memory and storage per hour on the Linux will always be a lot cheaper than the Windows. And again, with the SQL, I'm sure you're paying for the license. See how much it increases with SQL. And again, SQL Web should be a little bit lower because it's not the full package. Again, Windows is lower, SQL is higher because you're paying for the Microsoft license for the software. And these are just the different information that you can get. Basically, you can give yourself more virtual CPUs. They call them eCPUs, basically. So You have 4 cores, 4 CPUs gives you 13 cores, 8 CPU gives you 28. They call it eCPUs, kind of like cores. Memory is in gigabytes. This is actually pretty strong, 15 gigs of RAM. That's actually pretty good right here. If you get that much horsepower for 72 cents an hour, it's really not too bad. You get 2 80 gig SSDs, which will be really fast. They have previous generations for less money, etc. Wow, that's actually pretty cheap. Their stuff's really not too expensive. They're priced pretty fairly, in my opinion. So we'll go back to the console to see if this thing is ready. We'll click on our connect again, see if our password is ready. Still not ready. So we'll continue to wait. We can actually see what it's doing right now. I believe you can go ahead and check the system log, see what it's doing. I don't think it's finished booting up and completed its process, so we won't get a system log. But when it's completed a system log, we'll say like sysprep has finished running, yada yada user has ready to log in, and I'll show you guys logging into the system. And I'll show you guys how to launch Skype from your Amazon EC2 cloud to prevent yourself from getting DDoS, and you have additional virtual private server to use for free that's hosted on Amazon EC2 cloud. So again, back to pricing, guys. They offer on-demand reservation instances. They offer all these different tools, and I can go talk hours about these different tools that are available. Your best bet is actually to go to this site and actually read up on the website. Again, I don't really feel you should be paying premium for the Amazon C2 Cloud, but if you like it, I think it's a great tool. I'd recommend doing it. I mean, if you can, if you want to sign for I wouldn't recommend doing like a 3-year term though. One thing I want to point out is with computers, especially with virtualization, is the prices is just going to go down because as we continue on, hardware is only going to get better, faster, and cheaper. And if you sign yourself in a 3-year term, you're going to be stuck with old hardware. I mean, they might offer you like some, trade up or something like that, but the odds of that are pretty slim. So right now, with the way computer hardware virtualization is going, I think it's only going to boom and become better as time goes on. So I wouldn't look into signing any long-term contracts. This is my opinion on that. You're free to do what you want, but I wouldn't recommend it. Let's see if our password's ready. Come on, password. Are you ready? There we go. Okay, so now the password's ready. Remember how we downloaded that password PEM earlier? So now I want to go ahead and choose the file, and I want to go get the password PEM. So this is actually an encrypted password. Excuse me. Once the password is encrypted, it's really long, as you see here. It's huge. You want to go ahead and click on decrypt password, and this will be the password. So I have the password, and I'm going to go ahead and download the remote desktop file. It downloaded, and it's automatically going to open an RDP. You can click on Don't Ask Me Again if you're going to continue to use this IP. Hit Connect. It will then ask me for my password. If you notice, I'm going to copy and paste it right here. Sometimes it doesn't work the first time, so make sure you don't. See, I had this happen last time. Don't get any of the white stuff. It will occasionally get like a little extra white space. You don't want that. You want to make sure you copy and paste it correctly. And sometimes typing it manually helps as well. I think I got it that time. Nope. Okay, so I'm going to go manually type this. So it's EUF. We can type this. I'm going to go ahead and manually type because I cannot copy and paste it. QGG. It's case sensitive, guys. BM. And this is just my password, so your password will be something different. I think I got it. There we go. So once you're able to connect, I'm going to tell it Don't Ask Me Again. I'm going to hit yes. It's going to log into the machine that I created on Amazon C2 Cloud. This is the IP address we're connecting to. And this is my instance that I have available for 752 hours. One thing I might want to point out is if you ever want to make a change, you can do everything in your console here. They make it really easy, all web interface. And now that it's ready, I bet I can make a snapshot now if I wanted to. I'm going to wait for it to load up. It has to load up and create my profile. Again, this takes a minute or two. And I'll show you it in full screen. It's Windows Server 2010. We're using a Microsoft license that Amazon licensed for us. Again, it's for free, which is a great deal in my opinion. So it's going to personalize. It's going to set up. It's loading. We're waiting. I can create a snapshot if I want and go back and load up this part of the OS if I want to do that. Again, we can see what's going on in our instance. Let's check our log while we're waiting, just to show you that the log does actually work. Get a system log. You notice it sysprepped. It sent me the password. Windows is ready to use. I think it's a really cool system. It has all information. Again, right-clicking to get that. You want to right-click and you have all the options available here. You can terminate it, reboot it, stop it. Also, you can enable monitoring so you don't go over your data usage or caps. All right, so now once it's all loaded, now we have our Windows server already. It has it's a blank operating system. There's nothing on it. You are an administrator on it. You can install whatever hardware or software you like on it, I believe within reason. And it gives me our host name, my IP address, the public, the private, which is this on this machine, the architect, how much memory we have. We have 2 ECUs and the performance is low. So now if I wanted to install, like for instance, a Skype or something, I can run a Skype or a program off this IP address and I wouldn't be necessarily running it off my home machine. So there you have it, guys. I just created a free virtual computer that I can run on my desktop computer that's running a different OS for free from Amazon. If you guys like this video, feel free to comment. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer on them.